Knock your socks off. Deadlock.
Sometimes you keep it simple, stupid. It's what's needed every now and then. You gotta turn off that blinding intellectual projector sometimes to really see the moving pictures. I mean, I'm not suggesting a steady diet of stupidity, but it's okay to let your guard down. It's okay to have a beer with the local idiots. I mean, even in the midst of their spoken nonsense, something quite elementary can come out that makes you begin to rethink the way you see things. That's right. I think we could all sometimes learn a thing or two from the Philistine population. So, what did I learn from screening Girlhouse? It's absolutely okay to enjoy something really dumb on occasion. Oddly, this film made me happy. It made me forget the seriousness of almost everything. It made me think how pleasurable it is to jerk off and look at hot chicks on the internet, to enjoy senseless violence on the screen, to appreciate B-movie horror. Horror! There's something that's been avoided on this show for years. Yes, it made me appreciate horror and how much it meant to me when I was a young man. You know, renting videos and getting real gruesome on the weekends. I thought about how horror was my first real introduction to film and how it brought me to Stanley Kubrick, Brian De Palma, and the likes of Steven Spielberg. I thought about a lot of things because with Girlhouse, there really wasn't much to think about. It's a typical horror story. It involves a young man who as a child is mocked by two young girls and spends a lifetime in anger seeking revenge on women who unfortunately dare to mock him. So he stalks a webcam house full of sexy young women and becomes a bit obsessed with the new girl to the point, well, I think you could easily get the picture. I mean, the film touches upon concepts of rage, obsession, voyeurism, and even our current reliance on technology for entertainment, for almost everything, but falls short on delivering on anything meaningful or thought-provoking here. And like I said, that's okay. It's simple, stupid, and that's what I needed from this film. A late-night Cinemax horror flick. It broke everything down for me, and now I feel I can pick up the cinematic pieces and begin a new journey into film watching. It's amazing to think that a film like Girlhouse can do something like this. I'm not saying this epiphany will happen to you if you decide to screen Girlhouse, but I ask you to keep this in mind. Watch something stupid every now and then. It's cleansing. It's healthy. I mean, if you're smart enough to understand what's quality and what's crap, then release yourself into the B-movie genre wild. Don't be so goddamn uptight. I get uptight. I get so goddamn uptight. I needed Girlhouse at a time when everything just seems so serious. I needed it to remind me that if you think long and hard enough, the whole function of the human race is utterly ridiculous and unnecessary. So take the time to fall back in line and let the dumb lead from time to time. I assure you, it's quality entertainment. Girlhouse, gentlemen, Girlhouse 2014.
I love that the human race is unnecessary.
Completely unnecessary. Think about it.
Yeah, back to the horror, man. Back to those that tried and true genre of slasher.
It was
picture,
so much fun watching this movie, Joe. I mean, listen, I know that we're gonna sit here and probably, say that it's, it's just typical and really just your average
Well, it's nice. It's nice. It's nice. Look, if we watch this movie in the middle of all of our horror episodes, we'd just be like our
I'd
eyes
want
would be
to,
glazing
yeah,
over, right?
exactly. I'd want to put on a mask and go kill women.
Right,
I think it's so
right.
crazy.
Yeah,
But
which
this was really enjoyable, and it made me think about how much I enjoy the genre, Joe, because our time on Horror Palace, it just really it tired me out, man. It really tired me out of the genre, and to go back and watch something as simple as this, it really wasn't an enjoyment for me.
yeah. So you said you needed a little bit of mindless viewing. Is there something going on that you? I mean, what are you in? You studying philosophy or something that you needed a break from the mental exercises, or what's going on?
No, I'm just saying that in watching most of the films on here, I think that we try to challenge each other, and try to put out some really
Yeah, they tend to be heavy,
thoughtful, heavy
especially.
pieces. I think in my own on my own time, I'm watching mostly thoughtful, heavy pieces. I sometimes forget that it's okay to just step back and watch something that's simple and
Yeah,
stupid and silly. You
yeah,
know,
cool. Yeah,
and that's what I'm trying to say. That it really was a relief. It was a relief to just enjoy this nonsense.
yeah, and I think that for what it is, the filmmakers were certainly capable, and it was executed fairly well. I mean,
Sure.
for what, like you're saying, it's not like it's not this, it's not trying to change the world or be something that it's not. It kind of, they're very aware of what they're doing here. There's sort of a neat reference to Rear Window there, so they're definitely aware of
No
all the
doubt.
voyeuristic stuff that's going
No
on.
doubt.
They obviously know the genre of trapping a bunch of girls in a house and killing them one by one.
Mhm.
They very familiar with that, and then they put sort of a kind of a neat frame around that, I guess. With some ingenuity.
I
You
think
know what I
it's an
mean?
enjoyable slasher flick, right? I mean, we could definitely refer to this as slasher, right?
Yeah, I didn't mind watching it. Unfortunately, my viewing I watched both of these movies, or Alone with Her and this one, both last night. Like
You
it
got to
was,
separate them.
I know, stretching in, and I had to watch some of it this morning. I was just crammed in my schedule, with like the holiday coming off the holiday weekend and everything. But yeah, I did. I thought it was okay. I mean, when they just start like one after another, it gets monotonous, of course. One one killing after another. For what it was, I thought it was definitely a solid sort of B movie horror slasher pick.
Yeah, I mean, it was nothing special, but to me, it was like I said, it was really enjoyable to watch. I had a nice time watching it. Uh, we're gonna get to Max in a couple minutes. I mean, he picked these movies, and I'm definitely interested in hearing his opinion. But let's welcome back Billy Barassa to the show. It's been quite a few episodes. Billy, how you doing, dude?
I'm doing excellent. Why is everyone talking about you getting beaten up consistently?
Yeah.
Have they been using you as a punching
So
bag?
so Billy doesn't listen to the show.
No. Good God. Good
Why
God, no.
would you do that?
He doesn't go out there with his bike and his helmet and his iPod and listen to the show when he rides.
No, he doesn't even like us on Facebook, Max.
I can barely get through one recording session, let alone listening to the show on the regular.
Let's just say, Billy, Tom has had some challenges as of late, and he sees it one way and we see it another. I see potential in him, and he chooses to see things different. He's very defensive, and there have been some eruptions on the show, but not tonight. Tonight,
Billy, can you believe that has been going on? Eruptions?
I find that hard to swallow. I
Yeah,
don't.
I mean, seriously. I mean, it's something new. It's new territory for us.
Yeah. Are you? I assume everyone's painting you as some kind of Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh, and they're trying to say you have more potential than that. That you're moping around or something.
he doesn't need our help doing that. He calls himself Charlie Brown and then hashtags Charlie Brown.
No,
Great.
I hashtagged Charlie Brown. You guys made that up. I was just joking. I never called myself Charlie Brown.
Tom, do you want me to
I think
actually...
Joe started that.
You need like the
Yeah, but then you
Lucy
capitalize
psychiatry 5 cents, like psychological help from Lucy type thing.
I don't know. What I'm attempting to do here on this episode of Girlhouse is I'm trying to talk about Girlhouse
And not talk about.
and not
We
talk
are
about
I
like
apologize.
we're like a half a second from getting into it because all we have to do is say, "Well, here's what happened," like
Yeah,
one
I mean-
instance of what was going on, and then we're off in
it's
we're
like
off in the
3
same
minutes
lane.
into the show and it's like it's already there.
Billy.
I'm so sorry. I apologize. I should listen to the show more.
We love Tom. Tom's our leader. But when your leader has gout and he can't get a new computer because he'd rather spend the money on cigarettes, after a while, it just starts to grind away at you.
He quits his job and then cuts his hand
Yeah,
on
it's
a
like
on a
it's
shelf
always
and-
something, and it's like, Tom, don't you see what you could be doing? Don't you see how great this is, the property that we have here, how it's gotten so much better over the years? I keep asking these guys to talk to Adam. You know, Adam has great ideas and perspective on this, but he feels like me, like a supporting cast member. It's really not his place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's up to Tom, and you know, sometimes Tom isn't.
Tom has a lot of anxiety right now. I can feel it coming through the internet.
And I don't want to bum Tom out.
No, you're not bumming me out. I mean, it's just I'm just tired of talking about it here on the show. You know, I really am just tired. It seems like it's the same fucking show over and over again about how.
It may be the same show over again, Tom, but it's goddamn good radio. I'll tell you that, my friend.
I can't imagine. Joe, I mean, is there anything different in the numbers? Because people are listening to how horrible my life
They're
is.
going through the roof. They're going through the
right.
roof. We are steadily growing. I mean, I don't know. People are really responding.
The worse Tom's life gets, the better our ratings are. Well,
it's like a Twilight Zone episode.
It's fantastic. Tom, like, I don't know, cut the other hand. Do something. Yeah, it's going great. What do you
Fall down the stairs, Tom, and have a cast on your foot.
I liked what he lied once about me winning $900.
Oh my God, Billy! I mean, the things this guy's pulling.
Billy, what did you think of Girlhouse?
I apologize.
Why do you got to say that I lied about? Like it was just like it was that thing. Oh, forget about it.
I fell for it and said, "You're no longer Charlie Brown. You just won $900 with a lottery ticket. That's amazing, Tom. Now you can buy a new computer." It was all bullshit.
And then the rain comes and
The thunder and the light.
baseball games wash it out and
There's
good grief.
There's like
Charlie
a
Brown.
single dark cloud hanging over Tom's head. Just everywhere he walks, it just pours rain on him.
I got a rock. Rats.
Oh, Tom, you said before we started recording, we're going to try not to do this. And it's like, seriously, like 4 minutes in.
It's all it took. At least Billy's not like dumping on me yet.
Not yet. You wait.
Not yet. Girlhouse, Billy. Girlhouse.
Girlhouse, I unfortunately did not give this movie a fair shake. I was very busy while I was watching it, and I did not give it the attention it deserved, but it was clearly a very fun, like, silly, awesome slasher movie. And yes, it also reminded me, Tom, I love that you mentioned it. I didn't even think about it, but yes, it's like the palate has been refreshed from watching horror movies nonstop, and I can actually enjoy this as a light entertainment again for the first time in years. So.
Exactly, and it was a treat, man, because I won't even watch. You know what? I watched a week ago, and I turned Max onto a movie that Pat Healy, who was on the show in the past as a guest, starred in called Cheap Thrills, which is kind of thriller horror genre stuff, and it kind of excited me again about watching these like little cheap horror movies, because some of them some of them are good. I mean, some of them are entertaining, I should say.
I think the ones that like low budget, we used to talk about this on the Horror Palace version of the show. Sometimes those low budget productions, they don't have any safety nets, so they take all the chances in the world and just do the most ridiculous shit. And that's fun to watch them like do insane shit, you know? So
yeah. And
when you got nothing to lose, you know?
Yeah, and that's what you're getting here, and they and they do a decent job. I mean, they fucking kept me entertained for an hour and 40 minutes, and that's all. Sometimes I could ask for when watching a low budget horror movie.
I like, it's funny because I just watched Mad Max the other day, the new one in the
Yeah.
theaters, and it's funny because it's basically that low budget. It's really a great B movie, overinflated on steroids, But man, it's like sometimes silly entertainment is just what the doctor ordered.
I think, yeah,
Like,
and I think George Miller is good at that.
he's a genius for that, man. I mean, it still feels like the old exploitation type stuff, and yeah, I love a good bad movie. As long as it knows what it's doing, which is interesting because it dovetails into the next movie, and yeah, I'm looking forward to talking about that too.
And it's coming up on the season for that. The summer is definitely, the season for these the superhero movies and the Furious movies and all that
Yeah,
kind of
the
stuff.
Fast and Furious.
Yeah, of course, man. There's
Yeah.
nothing like a summer day going in and watching getting a gigantic bucket of American popcorn and shoving it in your face while you watch, car chases and superhero.
Yeah,
action
and,
type.
Coming
most-
out of Sorry, I'm sorry. Just one last thing. Coming out of winter, it was like a really brutal winter out here in the Northeast, and like at some point, I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna load up with like shitty comedies, and I went through like Neighbors and like
that's
Wet
terrible.
Hot American Summer and all this stuff. But it was kind of great because it's like really stupid. It's brainless. Just check your brain at the door, and yeah, I mean, I love doing that once in a while. It's a blast.
Max, Peep Show, Creep Show. This is what you delivered to the Cutting Room Movie Podcast, last 2 episodes, season 5. I got to tell you, man, I'm digging it.
The
I'm
theme?
having a good time with it. Yeah, dude.
Well, let's face it. We're 4 dudes with cocks. And we come probably once a day. I probably come more than you guys do a day. I don't know. I know Joe probably comes less because of his schedule. I don't know when Billy comes. Now, guys, I'm not talking about when I come. Tom, you have some time off right now, so you probably come as much as I do.
Yeah, probably.
But I gotta tell you, I saw Girlhouse months ago,
Mm-hmm.
and it made me so happy, just like you're saying. And
Right.
I'm like, this is the film I am going to bring to the cutting room. And I thought, boy, not only does it bring me back to the Horde Palace days, which, great memories and dark memories, but whatever. I mean, it still was that. It just was so good to see a big, fat, scary psycho run around in a
love it.
woman's mask.
Yeah.
How about Loverboy? How about Loverboy's shitty Photoshop work with all the different girls? That was just so inspired and so exciting to
Oh,
watch.
was that Photoshop? I thought he was just cutting and
It may as well. I think
You
it
mean
was
like he was cutting
yeah, like for some
cutting
reason
and pasting.
Yeah.
that's for some reason I thought that tower registered in my mind.
I mean, come on. You got this Ali Cobran who's painfully attractive. I mean, this is like, how great is it to see like a wholesome heroine being terrorized again? How great you got the twists and the turns, like the boss of Girl House turns out to be gay, and it just, the croquet mallet through the head. I mean, it's all these things that you remember. And here's the thing, Tom.
Dildo.
We were
in the
talking.
mouth, too. Was there not a dildo in the mouth killing?
There was a dildo in the mouth killing, and she had the dildo shoved down her throat, and her face was taped up. Her head was
Taped
right.
up, yeah, taped up.
Very inspired. Kills, as Bill Shetty would say.
There were 23 kills.
23 kills, guys. All kinds of exciting things. Billy, let's get your take, my man. Where's that guy? Why isn't he here?
Why isn't Bill Shetty on this episode?
This was tailor-made for him. But Tom, you were saying in your review, and boy, did you bring me back. My grandpa Bill was a drunk, and he would drink Budweiser, just American Budweiser, not Bud Light, the red and white can. He would drink a case of them, pass out on the couch, and I'd be sitting there. I'm 5, 6, 7, around there. No one's monitoring me. I'm sitting here watching Hammer classics. I'm sitting here watching Universal Horror. I mean, seriously, that was my introduction as well to movies. Was the scary movies. And I just feel like Girl House is a real throwback to not only that, but especially like 80s films. And I cannot wait
Yeah.
because the next time, and I'm just planting the seed now, don't look at it yet until next season or whatever, but the next film I'm going to bring is called The Guest. And I think it might be my favorite film of 2014. And this, again, in many ways like Girl House, really does feel like an 80s horror film. But I think The Guest was done, it's a very different style film. And so it's infinitely better in many ways. But
You know, what I liked about this film is exactly what you're saying, is that you have this, watching this movie, that they totally understand the genre so much, but they're not goofing on themselves while they're doing it.
Yeah.
You know, they're trying to make an actual
Yeah, they're
movie.
doing a modern version of.
Yeah,
They're not
and they're
just,
trying
it's not pastiche, it's not homage and all that shit.
Yeah,
They know what to do with the material, not just repeat
yeah.
it.
Yeah, and like they're actually, the more I think about it, it's actually really kind of clever. Is that they know so much, they've studied the genre obviously so much, and how all that horror theory about teenage boy wish fulfillment, emasculated wish fulfillment and all that business, they like built that into the script literally, where the guy's motive was this guy who's been emasculated and has this this anger, and it's like this wish is basically like what all horror, or a lot of these slasher movies are, or at least how they're theorized in those books that we used to read all the time, is that they're all wish fulfillment of these boys who can't express themselves any other way, and they're like getting revenge on the woman. And
It kind of crosses the line between like where that comes from in the male id and who the audience for these movies often are.
Yeah.
Actually putting that as the front and center character trait of the film.
Right.
You know?
Right. It's taking what's underlying a lot of the Halloween and the Friday the 13th and stuff, and really just taking a really dead on look at that without making it a mockery of itself. You know what I mean? Which is really actually, again, it's refreshing to see, because a lot of other people, it just becomes like a lot of other films. It would become about, oh, we're gonna do this because of it's like this, except we're gonna do it and goof on it, and that kind, like this sort of tongue in cheek.
So you think they're doing this thing here where they're like, I mean, this is what we're really talking about in these horror films, so we're just gonna go right ahead and give it to you straight, Joe?
Well, this movie is. Yes, I think. Yes, give it to us. Yes, meaning taking what's been theorized as the motivations in classic horror movies, right?
Yeah.
And making that the actual, like, straight up, right in your face, literal motivation of the character, because he gets emasculated by those two girls.
Well, like
Jason,
Jason in the old Friday the 13th movies, wasn't Jason like sort of the victim of an overbearing mother kind of thing?
Right.
Like in the first one, it was even like he had died or something. But anyway, like the damaged male ego has always been. I mean, the original, like the template for these stalker movies was Peeping Tom by Michael Powell back in the 60s, right? And he was, he created the archetype of these guys. So, yeah.
You've seen Peeping Tom?
Yeah, a couple of times. I watched. I mean, I thought it was pretty brilliant. Like, it was so far ahead of its time. It destroyed Michael Powell's career. But
Max, have you seen that one?
No.
Oh,
isn't that the film that made Scorsese want to be a director?
It's one of them.
Probably
he was a huge Michael Powell fan, and yeah, Michael Powell created masterpieces, and then he did that, and they just thrashed him. But it was literally 20 years ahead of its time. He did it way too soon, and
Max, you would love that.
Yeah,
movie.
it's amazing.
I'm all over it. Hey, let me ask you about those girls. Well, especially the main girl who mentally castrates Loverboy. Joe, as a father, this young girl was a woman.
Which one? In the flashback? Or are we talking about in the flashback?
In the beginning scene.
In the beginning, yeah.
That
all right, yeah,
girl who, it was hard for me because I'm like, oh my God, she is really alluring, and I'm like, oh shit, wait, stop, she's 12, she's 14, she's 12, and then once she was terrorized in the next scene, riding her bike across the bridge, that's when she became a little girl again. But did you guys have that same response to that actress in that moment when she's making Loverboy pull his pants down, that actress?
Yeah, she's a really well. Let's talk about her real quick, so people are aware of who we're talking about. Her name is Cameron Backer. I got to get I'll IMDb it in a minute. I can't pronounce her last name, but she plays Catwoman on the the Fox show Gotham. She plays the young.
No.
No.
We're talking about the girl actress, the young actress in the beginning of the film
In the white
when
in the white
Loverboy's
dress.
a kid.
Yes,
Who's really
she plays a young Catwoman on the
Oh.
show Gotham on
Oh,
Fox.
She
Oh, wow.
does?
Yes,
Wow.
she is like a 13-year-old. Like Bruce Wayne on the show is like 12 or 13. She's 12 or 13. The character's 12 or 13 right now. And so she's on this. So I'll tell you something real quick. I had talked to her manager about her coming because I noticed she was in the movie. I talked to her manager about her coming on the show, and the manager was saying, "I think I could free up some time on this day in the afternoon, and you guys could do a little interview." She was just like, "Just please, just send me what the basic questions you're going to be covering with her." So I let her know what we're up to.
Right.
I swear to God, an hour later, she was like, "Listen, Fox said they don't want her on the show, and they don't want her talking about Girlhouse. Fox doesn't want her talking about Girlhouse or anything she's done in the past.
Of course
She is
not.
simply here on planet Earth right now to talk about Gotham, and
She's ours. You can't have her.
She's
We own everything about her.
She's property, yeah, and it was just really bizarre, and it just I was creeped out by that.
That is so creepy. I mean, I get it, but
Can't
boy,
even say her last name, Tom. It's probably trademarked at this point.
I better not say it.
I just thought she was something else
She
entirely.
is. I agree with you 100%, Max. And you know what? And that's all part and parcel to like why I was pulled into this movie, because that opening 10 minutes or so was really, really well done. I really liked it. It really, you know what it reminded me of? And you guys are you'll laugh because I'm a fan of Matthew Bright, who directed Freeway and the Ted Bundy movie, but I saw that kind of like Matthew Bright style in that first 10 minutes of Girlhouse. And
Matthew Bright, he shoots a lot of like hot scenes,
yes,
like overexposed.
Very
you know
good,
what I
Joe.
mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it took me in to his world, and I was thinking about his world and how much I enjoyed movies like Freeway and Ted Bundy and Freeway 2. And that had a lot to do with why I was like pulled in and satisfied with this screening at Girlhouse here. But yeah, Max, I'm with you 100%. She was pretty intense in the first 10 minutes of the movie.
Right, but we're not getting to my question. Like, was she?
You gotta give him points for trying to avoid answering that question, Max. give credit where credit is due.
I mean, Joe, your daughter has friends that are about that age.
I coach a whole softball team of them. Yes.
Okay, so what happens in your brain? I mean, I know you're not really going to tell us.
There's a line that you don't cross. Listen, man.
But the aesthetics, Joe.
They're young women, okay? Of course, man. But when
what do you mean, of course?
Well, they're starting to blossom and all that stuff, right?
And they're blossoming
but then
earlier
but
than
there's
ever,
like
aren't they,
as
Joe?
soon as there's like a
thought.
it's kind of like a bell or whatever. There's just a line like, they're young, man. I mean, they're too young, so you just stop. I mean, and plus that's too young. I mean, they're not even fully formed.
I
mean, they're not
understand.
even fully formed.
But I'm saying, like, when we saw Pretty Baby and we saw Brooke Shields in Pretty Baby for the first time on the Z channel or whatever, I mean, that was a mind blower. We were probably as young as her then, but if you were to look at that now, I mean, that Gotham chick, it's like it really kind of confused me, and I never went as far as the really bad place of thinking about her, but there was an initial allure. So that is what I'm wondering when you've got all these girls, and listen, hormones, everything else these days, these girls are blossoming faster than ever, and you can't have those thoughts, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it's healthy that you cross out those thoughts as soon as they even come near your brain.
But it's just automatic, though, too. I think
it's automatic because we're fucking animals.
No. I see. It's automatic that you stop
Yes.
before you get to that point
Yes.
where you're starting to have any kind of
Max,
thoughts
Joe
like
was
that.
just
I
the
guess that too.
listen. Max was just the grand marshal of his local parade. You
You
know,
mean Joe was?
yeah, Joe was. He's the man of his community.
Yeah.
I'm a pillar of the community.
Yeah.
Okay,
No, I get it.
He doesn't have these thoughts.
All right, let me ask you guys this. Forget
I'm
the
glad that I don't, man. If I did, that would be very difficult.
Of course
man.
it would. And we don't have those thoughts. Forget her. Once we get into the girl house with the of age women, did the movie turn you guys on in any way? All those women with their panties and the dildos and the different rooms and the fucking and the sucking and the femininity and the. Did you feel like you were a voyeur? Did you feel, because I loved that scene where we are getting a tour of the girl house for the first time. I loved it so much.
Max, I have to tell you, no, I do not get turned on when I watch hot women,
Yeah.
wearing sexy outfits or nothing for that matter. No, oddly I don't.
Of course not. No, that is. It's actually a good idea. That whole girl house like concept. Is there stuff out there that's actually like that? I'm surprised that there isn't. I mean, I'm sure. I know that there's like sex chat rooms you go to,
Yeah,
whatever.
I was wondering the same thing. Like, is that like I don't know anything about the chat side of the porn universe, right? But is that an actual thing? Anyone?
I have not seen
Okay,
it.
I don't know either.
I don't know.
I do.
Boy, is it a great business plan, and I would love to be the leader. I would love
Right.
to be the
The
boss.
reading, like the little bit of reading I did on the movie, said the director just like it's a combination of those old sorority house slasher movies, like the Slumber Party type things. So that could be totally his idea, and if he doesn't make that happen in reality, he's an idiot.
Yeah.
Someone should. It seems like it's a viable thing. You know what I mean? Like it seems like it. He just set up a whole business plan, just out like an outline right there in the movie. It seems like it would make a ton of friggin'
I mean,
money.
I know that there are girls who do that. There are tons of women who do that, like as a regular
Yeah.
client thing. But it's more of, and I know that there are like websites that they. It's like I don't know, what are they?
They combine
Yeah,
them, so
yeah, it's
like a group of girls will have like a website.
Yeah,
and
it's
you
like
can
I
choose
think
which
Burning
girl.
Angel was the first one to do like the alt porn thing, and yeah, I mean I know that it's like a label, like a record label or like a movie studio or something, but the actual geographic thing that I've never heard of before.
Yeah.
Well, listen, if you're going to have that, you can't have a varsity football player as your security, because that scene where Loverboy
guy
is
was
carrying the
hilarious.
toolbox, walks very fast towards him, was unbelievable.
Yeah, and not only that, I mean, he's just a linebacker at North Carolina State. It's not even a good football team. But
So you
know,
guys have never done webcam, going to chat rooms and all that?
I
You've
have
never done
never
that?
done it. No, I haven't.
I have a friend who actually quit her corporate job and went into business for herself doing that stuff.
Really?
And
How'd she do?
she did fine. She was more in the she called her it's the cougar category, I guess, because she's not a mom, but she really capitalized on her cougar
Cougerness.
her cougarness, and and it got to the point where she was doing great. And then it's so funny, like she would send me pictures because she knew that I was definitely wanting to receive them, but she would take like these weird photo shoots where she's fully naked, she's on all fours. And
This isn't Kari, right?
God, no. No, Kari's a professional voiceover actress. But no, this is another friend. And she would send me very, very provocative photos of herself. And then all of a sudden the photos would stop coming. And that's because she started dating a guy.
That's funny.
But you can hire
know-
her for videos. You can hire her to do
Yeah.
anything.
I know a girl who has basically a friend of mine or my wife's really, who has a empire, like a fetish empire. So she has a whole office building she bought and
Wow.
a house based on her. She doesn't even, well, I guess it's pornography in a sense, but it's like a fetish kind of
Yeah,
website.
right.
So it's like stepping on stuff and crushing
Right.
bugs and walking around with like that kind of thing.
Joe,
Billy-
why
Billy
aren't you and
knows.
Billy making that documentary?
I definitely I would I've written it into a few things here and there, but yeah, that documentary. She's in San Diego. but
Aren't you two working on something together, you and Billy?
Yeah, working on a story, a graphic novel story.
Are we allowed to talk about it, or is it too early in the
Uh,
stages?
no, I don't want to. I don't want to
It's
really
it's a
talk.
little it's a
It's in the
little too
middle.
young to be exposed to daylight, I think.
Why do you guys like working together, Billy and Joe?
I don't.
You
I
don't
don't
like
think
working with Joe?
I
we
don't think
mutually hate
I
working
don't think
with
we
each other.
do.
You don't think you work together?
We're using each other for future success, that's all.
Now, Billy, do you get excited when Ron Muga needs a video made and he calls upon you to shoot it?
No,
Oh,
I
boy.
hate Ron too. I don't really like him.
Get excited.
Only if Ron is going to be stepping on bugs and stuff. Then I'm all into it.
Listen, Joe, I think you got to have your friend on the show at some point because she sounds like a real entrepreneur.
She would probably come on. You know what? I keep wanting to program a fetish show because there's this great movie called My Trace that I really want to share with you guys. It's really a good movie.
What's it called,
man.
Joe?
And it's sick. It's however you say mistress in French. And I think it's my Trace, something like that.
Okay.
It's insane, man. They have like this real like there's one scene. It's actually a really good movie. It's got who is that friggin' guy who directed? Oh, Barbet Schroeder directed it, and it's actually like it's a good one to like pair with like a Secretary. You know that movie Secretary?
Oh, yeah.
So like those two would really go well together. And there's, like,
Spankings.
they
The
have
secretary
like
with Spader.
yeah,
Maggie
and
Gyllenhaal.
Gyllenhaal, yeah.
That movie was great. I've just finally saw that for the first time like a
Yeah?
month ago, and that movie's fantastic. It's so funny. It's so well shot. It's almost like in Todd Solond's land. A little
Yeah,
bit.
it's magnificent.
It has
It's
more
true.
to do with sweetness of personality, and then like even it's just beautiful. It's a lovely, bizarre little burlesque
Love story.
film.
Yeah.
It's a fucking love story. It was great.
I can't
man.
believe how romantic it is. It's so
Yeah.
romantic in the end.
It really is.
And I'm a dude.
Yeah, that I would like to put that one and those two together. If there's a new film that comes out that's like it would
There's
have
one,
to,
there's
Shades
you
of
know.
Grey.
Oh dear God.
Oh,
I was
haven't
thinking
seen
about
it.
bringing that to the cutting room. I haven't seen it yet, but I was thinking that'd be fun.
I haven't. I don't. I know nothing about it except that it's on every mall billboard,
Right.
every poster in the mall. You know. But yeah, I would get her on. She would be fun to have on, man. She's got snakes and she steps on bugs and she has like a in addition.
Well, I don't know how I feel about the stepping on the bugs, though, Joe.
I know it's a little bit of a gray area.
'Cause now you're killing
And the-
innocent creatures, Joe. I mean,
Yeah, and she's got she's got she's got the website. She does like videos. You could send her like scripts to do like I guess in this movie kind of, or did they send scripts in this movie? Oh no, they just did it online or whatever. So you could send her like requests and stuff, and then you can even like schedule sessions to go down into her dungeon.
People are into some odd shit, dude.
Yeah, the last time I saw her I was out in San Diego. You know, she like you could just be having a conversation with her and she'll be like, you know, I'll let them suck my strap on, but I won't fuck them with it.
Tom, what are you
It's
into?
like, nice.
That's
nuts.
great.
Tom, what are you into?
Like what, fetish wise?
Yeah, no, just anything. Like, what do you jerk off to? Like, what are you into?
I'm not talking about that.
Why? That's what
I don't know. I mean, I just watch regular porn.
What is that? What is regular porn? A guy and a girl
It
fucking missionary?
Standard issue.
I'll tell you
Very
what.
gangbang?
It's very weird with me because it depends on my day because I could be like, say, on a bus, like coming home from work, and I will notice something that notice a female that I'm attracted to.
On
And
the
it
bus?
could, yeah, it could be anybody. It could, the woman could be 55 years old. The woman could be
All right, Tom,
25.
Tom,
What?
talk calmly for a second. Stop yelling.
I am.
Can't we just converse? Tom, you're yelling.
I always picture Tom on like the stand in the corner.
Yeah, it's like fucking
sweating.
Hitler yelling at me. Just relax.
I am relaxed, dude.
Okay, Tom, just breathe.
Jeez.
Tom,
Max, I am calm.
so you're on the
please.
bus, Tom.
Yes,
You're
right.
on the bus,
I'm on the bus.
and you see an attractive brunette, blonde. What do you see? What do you like? Are you looking at legs? Are you looking at the ass? Is she chesty?
Chesty, sure. Brunette, chesty, big ass, sure. That's
Okay, so kind of like a crumb girl, you know, she's on the bus, she's on her way home. So you look at her, and that plants the seed of inevitable secretion.
sure.
So once you get off the bus, Tom,
Please answer yes or no.
Yeah.
Are you walking with
What
a
is-
third leg to get back to your house? You can jerk off to porn, or can you jerk off in your own brain to the fantasy of, oh my God, there's an empty bus, and you say to the Tom, you say to the bus driver,
Hey, you don't mind if I fuck her, do you, right here in the bus?
and the bus driver says, I don't care, man, have at it, shit. So you start fucking the girl right there on the bus. You could get off in your head in a fantasy, or do you have to use porn to get off to?
You know what? I've done both, Max. I mean, I have no set design really on how I do things. Yeah, I mean, sometimes
That's weird, Tom. That's weird that you don't have a set design. Because
Wait,
I know the things that I like and the things that I don't like, and you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to watch a 600-pound woman sit on a little bony man's face.
Well, who does?
Well, I don't know that, Tom, because you're not telling me.
Well, I'm not. Well, I'll tell you what. This is what I will give you. I am not watching 600-pound women sitting on skinny men's faces. I'm not.
Are you able to masturbate and relieve yourself when your roommate is home?
Yeah, I guess so. In the privacy of my own room, sure.
Like after hours, or do you have to wait until he's asleep, or do you have no...
I don't think about what my roommates are doing if I decide to jerk off, Max.
You pluralized roommates. Does that mean you have more than one?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought you lived with one dude.
Oh, well, we have somebody staying here, yeah.
Who's staying there?
Oh, Jesus. Joe, help me out here.
They really are giving you the third degree.
Yeah.
The Cutting Room Movie Podcast.
Has this been
is brought to you
the normal operating procedure lately?
I'll tell you what. Listen, this show's running long. Max, if you want to ask me about it, we can talk about it next week. Is that fair?
Gosh, I think it's utterly an intriguing conversation, but whatever you want to do, man.
It was good. The time is over. Let's go.
The Cutting Room Movie Podcast is brought to you by Christiana Productions and New Media Limited. This show is edited and co-produced by Joseph Schreck and produced by Thomas Detloff and Joe Cristiano. We'd also like to thank our associate producer, Jeremy Garcia of Dartboard Cinema. Jeremy's going to be on the show next week, so we look forward to having him. You can like us on Facebook at The Cutting Room Movie Podcast and follow us on Twitter at Cutting Room Podcast at TCRMP1. And you can follow me on Twitter, Thomas Detloff at TCRM Podcast. You can also check out Joe's film work at ChristianaProductions.com. Adam's new show, Starland PC, at StarlandPC.com. And check out Max and Adam's Bowler Hat Productions and their Mimosa Podcast show at MaxCookandTheCounselor.com. And check out Max's blog at MaxCookUncorked.com. Music from The Cutting Room is done by the Zillatones. Check them out at www.thezillatones.com or search for the Zillatones at ReverbNation.com. We're going to be back next week with more Peep Show, Creep Show. We got Wim Wenders, Paris, Texas, and the 2006 film Alone with Her, starring Colin Hanks. Until then, we're over and we're out. Ciao.
Tune in next time to satisfy more of your strange desires. The Cutting Room Movie Podcast. We do chicken right.
Renting videos and getting real gruesome on the weekends. I thought about how horror was my first real introduction to film and how it brought me to Stanley Kubrick, Brian De Palma, and the likes of Steven Spielberg. I thought about a lot of things because with Girlhouse, there really wasn't much to think about. It's a typical horror story. It involves a young man who, as a child, is mocked by two young girls and spends a lifetime in anger seeking revenge on women who unfortunately dare to mock him. So he stalks a webcam house full of sexy young women and becomes a bit obsessed with the new girl to the point, well, I think you could easily get the picture. I mean, the film touches upon concepts of rage, obsession, voyeurism, and even our current reliance on technology. We could all sometimes learn a thing or two from the Philistine population. So, what did I learn from screening Girlhouse? It's absolutely okay to enjoy something really dumb on occasion. Oddly, this film made me happy. It made me forget the seriousness of almost everything. It made me think how pleasurable it is to jerk off and look at hot chicks on the internet, to enjoy senseless violence on the screen, to appreciate B-movie horror. Horror! There's something that's been avoided on this show for years. Yes, it made me appreciate horror and how much it meant to me when I was a young man. You know, for entertainment, for almost everything, but falls short on delivering on anything meaningful or thought-provoking here. And like I said, that's okay. It's simple, stupid, and that's what I needed from this film. A late-night Cinemax horror flick. It broke everything down for me, and now I feel I can pick up the cinematic pieces and begin a new journey into film watching. It's amazing to think that a film like Girlhouse can do something like this. I'm not saying this epiphany will happen to you if you decide to screen Girlhouse, but I ask you to keep this in mind. Watch something stupid every now and then. It's cleansing. It's healthy. I mean, if you're smart enough to understand what's quality and what's crap, then release yourself into the B-movie genre wild. Don't be so goddamn uptight. I get uptight. I get so goddamn uptight. I needed Girlhouse at a time when everything just seems so serious. I needed it to remind me that if you think long and hard enough, the whole function of the human race is utterly ridiculous and unnecessary. So take the time to fall back in line and let the dumb lead from time to time. I assure you, it's quality entertainment. Girlhouse, gentlemen, Girlhouse 2014.
I love that the human race is unnecessary.
Completely unnecessary. Think about it.
Yeah, back to the horror, man. Back to those that tried and true genre of slasher.
It was
picture,
so much
right?
fun watching this movie, John.
Knock your socks off. Death.
Sometimes you keep it simple, stupid. It's what's needed every now and then. You gotta turn off that blinding intellectual projector sometimes to really see the moving pictures. I mean, I'm not suggesting a steady diet of stupidity, but it's okay to let your guard down. It's okay to have a beer with the local idiots. I mean, even in the midst of their spoken nonsense, something quite elementary can come out that makes you begin to rethink the way you see things. That's right. I think we